In the winter of 1959, 10 university students set out on a skiing expedition in the northern Ural Mountains. They were all experienced hikers, all young, all fit. 9 of them would never return. The group was led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student. The expedition was meant to earn them a grade III hiking certification, the highest level in the Soviet system. It was supposed to be difficult, but routine. On January 27, they arrived by train at the last settlement before the wilderness. One member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill with joint pain and turned back. As he said goodbye, he told them he'd meet them when they returned. He was the only survivor. The remaining 9 hikers disappeared into the mountains. They were supposed to send a telegram when they returned. No telegram came. Weeks passed. Families began to worry. A search party was organized. On February 26, the searchers found the tent. It was pitched on the slope of a mountain called Kalet-Siakal. In the language of the Mansi people, the name means dead mountain. The tent had been cut open from the inside. The cut was large enough for a person to climb through. Footprints led away from the tent, 9 sets of footprints. The hikers had fled into the darkness, into -30-degree cold. Most were barefoot or wearing only socks. They had not stopped to dress. The first 2 bodies were found at the edge of the forest, about 1.5 kilometers from the tent. They were huddled around the remains of a small fire. They had died of hypothermia. They were wearing nothing but their underwear. 3 more bodies were found between the fire and the tent. They were spread out in the snow, as if they had died trying to return to the tent. All from hypothermia. Their postures suggested they had simply collapsed while walking. The final 4 bodies were not found until May, when the snow melted. They were in a ravine, buried under several meters of snow. These 4 were different. These 4 had died violently. 1 had a fractured skull. 2 had massive chest fractures, the kind of injuries you get from a car crash, not a fall. 1 woman was missing her tongue, her eyes, and part of her lips. There were no external wounds on any of them. No cuts, no bruises, just internal devastation. The forensic examiner noted that the force required to cause those chest injuries was comparable to the shock wave from an explosion. But there was no blast damage to the surrounding snow or trees. The bodies had been lying there for months. The snow had preserved everything. And then there were the strange details. Some of the hikers' clothing was found to be radioactive. Not dangerously radioactive, but significantly above background levels. Where did the radiation come from? None of the hikers worked with radioactive materials. Witnesses in the area reported seeing strange orange lights in the sky on the night of February 1. Other hikers, 50 kilometers away, saw them too. Bright orange spheres. Moving. What were they? Military tests? UFOs? Ball lightning? The official investigation noted these reports but could not explain them. The Soviet investigation concluded with a phrase that has haunted this case for decades. The hikers died due to an unknown compelling natural force. Unknown, compelling, natural, force. That was the official answer. The case was classified. The area was closed to hikers for 3 years. The hikers' families were not told the full details. For decades, the Dyatlov Pass incident was a mystery whispered about in Russia with no official answers. Over the decades, dozens of theories emerged. Avalanche, the most obvious explanation. But the slope was only 20 degrees too shallow for an avalanche. There was no avalanche debris. The tent was still partially standing. Military testing. The Soviet military conducted secret tests in the Urals. Could a missile test have gone wrong? Could the hikers have stumbled onto a test site? The orange lights, the radiation, the explosion-like injuries. It fits pieces of the puzzle. Infrasound. Wind passing over the mountain could have generated low-frequency sound waves below human hearing. These waves can cause panic, disorientation, and overwhelming urge to flee. The hikers cut their way out of the tent and ran. The wind blew their footprints away. They couldn't find their way back. A katabatic wind, a sudden, violent downdraft of freezing air. It could have ripped the tent open, forcing the hikers to flee or freeze instantly. The injuries? The 4 in the ravine may have fallen into the ravine in the dark and been crushed by the snow collapsing on top of them. In 2021, Russia officially reopened the investigation. After 2 years, they announced their conclusion, an avalanche. Specifically, a slab avalanche caused by strong katabatic winds, unusual snow conditions, and the hikers cutting into the slope to pitch their tent. Case closed. But was it? Many experts remain unconvinced. The slope was too shallow. The injuries don't match avalanche trauma. The radiation remains unexplained. The missing tongue, the orange lights, the Soviet secrecy. Dyatlov Pass may be officially solved, but the questions keep piling up. 9 young people went into the mountains. Something happened that night. We may never truly know what.